Hello, it's Chris. I'm going to talk a bit about megapolitical changes and transitions. And James Dale Davidson was talking about this and wrote a book about the topic as well. That these transitions, if you go back to history and you start to see them, then they speed up. And for example, the agricultural revolution or change to the agricultural society took about 5,000 years. It's a very, very long period. And from there to the industrial society, where from the agricultural we changed into the industrial society, it took centuries actually. So it speeded up, but it was a long process, really long. And from the industrial into the information society, which we are living right now, I mean, this is coming, this is emerging, it will take about a lifetime to get to its full potential or final state. So it's a long process, and we cannot expect this change so fast, because there is huge resistance actually in the world to grasp or even recognize what's going on. And I wanted to address a few key elements which are part of this process. In case, for example, in this information revolution, the signs of the transition are happening much earlier than the real revolution of this transition. So when it really revolutionarily changes, it has a long period until it reaches this point. And there are signs that people can see, which are actually happening before a real revolution of the use of power happens. And the second one is that there is a crisis-prone society action, and there is a huge population pressure on the marginalized resources. The crisis is prone to society actions. There is an income fall in this period based on this transition. The next is that usually before these megapolitical transitions happen, actually those participants, they don't see it. It is going to come, or comes usually as a shock to them, because they cannot see outside the system. They are completely blind on what's going on. But signs are, for example, violence and critics and so on. Major critics and violence and turbulence in the economic are signs of this. Yeah, and we can assume that the next one is going to happen, and as similarly to the previous one, that cultural changes are huge. Actually, there is a cultural revolution which is coming, which actually is already noticeable. For example, in the NFT marketplace, I mean, art is revolutionizing, and there are being old values and there are new values. So really, all the small artists can flourish here. I mean, they can rise really quickly and become superstars if they make high quality artwork, because the platform is completely new, and everybody's focusing. I mean, it's like a huge gallery, for example. Some of these platforms where everyone goes. If there is an event, we are going to go into these NFT platforms in a way that as we go in a gallery, which is a completely new way. There will be in the future that probably stay these galleries, because this is like old school. I mean, it's like an old school automobile show, let's say. But this is completely new. When you just click, or for you take the goggles, or you go in a virtual world, and then you go in that gallery, whatever platform, Raven Mint, or in OpenSea, or Just NFT, or Mango Farm, and then you go into these galleries. Especially OpenSea in the Ethereum environment is something like this. That it's a huge gallery, and it includes a lot of artists. A lot are really crap. Most of them are really crap, but they are trying, and some are really funny, and this is why they flourish. The others are high quality, and they are really artists who are working in the film industry and so on. So this is something important in this revolution, the cultural change from the new value into a new, from the old value into a new value system. And these transitions are never popular, so there is a huge resistance, because it antiquates the previous values, and the build up structures completely. They are completely pushing them away, so it's never popular. People are changing difficult, especially if time goes on. As when you are like 6 years old, I mean, or let's say 10 or 15, you can adapt to changes very quickly. But as you grow older, it's more difficult, and societies are old right now. So we are those who a population is really old. It's getting old, because we live much longer. We live much longer periods than our ancestors and so on. So actually, these changes are never popular, because people hate change. Because there are moral issues, and there are these dogmas that they used to things, and they would like to stay in that, and it doesn't. These changes don't care, so they don't care if you wanna stick to the old system. It will happen, and it completely changes the intellectual capitals as well. So it's like a mind blowing. Some are going to be shocked, because their industry, or their huge company, or whatever, for example a bank, is just gone. It's nobody cares anymore. They don't go there anymore. And if for example the banks cannot adapt to this new transition, then many are going to fail. Like it will be like grassing the grass. I mean, you cut the grass, and those who are not prepared on escaping somehow this land, or they adapting to the height, the necessary height, in a way that, for example, they make a digital bank which is blockchain based, for example, and with instant transaction, very low fee, and so on. They're gonna go out of the game. There's no game anymore, and this will happen very quickly. I don't like banks, actually. It is a necessary baggage, and it is part of the ecosystem, this existing economic system we have. But the sovereign individual will decide in the future, I think. And Daniel, James Daniel, he also thinks that the sovereign individual will decide, and they have to adopt. Governments have to adapt to you, and these big corporations have to adapt to your needs in the future, because you have the power in this information age, and not them. Of course, there is another aspect of this, with the data which was collected by these companies, but I don't want to go into that. So let's stay on focus here. And this transition into the new environment, or systems, like an information based society. It happens usually in is a local event. What do I mean by this? I mean that it concentrates on locations where the political structure or the megapolitical environments gives them the chance to flourish. For example, if you go to Miami, Miami is transforming into a center of digitalization, into a blockchain capital, let's say. This is why they make all the conferences there regularly, and you can pay on many places with Bitcoin. And I would like to go and see this with my own eye. How is it in reality? And another one is like Utah, which is like a Silicon Valley .2, where blockchain technologies and companies are flourishing, which are going to be part of this new society, or El Salvador, and maybe even Estonia, I think, where they try to go in this new informatic digital world. And I don't know how. It would be interesting to see how their government is and their society is changing, and how can they adopt. These countries are going to be able to adopt much quicker, and probably with lower violence as well, because the resistance is not so big, because they are prepared on this change, I think. And except the early stages of farming, uh, James Daniel says that except this period, there was always in this transition a huge violence. So this is what you have to prepare for. That it's not gonna be easy. Some are going to resist very, very much, or or on the other sides they want it so much that they even use force to push those away who are trying to stick to the old systems. So it could be a tough period with much violence involved. Hopefully not, and I hope that we reach the point in our mental capacity globally that we can solve it without violence. But according to what's going on in the world, it's not gonna be easy, because of the wars. People are more sensitive, and they are preparing much more on violence locally, I think. They spend much more they spend much more money, like for example governments. They are going to spend much more money on safety and military. Their budget is going through the roof in the next period. And actually this was, I think, one of the reason what well, anyway, let's leave this, because I don't want to go into politics at all, because it's not interesting for me. In the final stage of the decline of an era is coming when corruption really heightens, when there are so many corruptions that it's exponentially growing, and the decline of moral standards and generally the moral and corruption hype or grow is a sign of the final stages of these transitions. And the growing importance of technology is actually speeding up the process. So, so if you go back to history, the first transitions happened really long. It took thousands of years, and then hundreds of years, and now a lifetime. And even the next one is, because we are so interconnected, we have such a high technology level globally, that these transitions happen very quickly. And if you would have been living in the agricultural society, this information would not be important for you or interesting. But now in the technology, when we are already in this information revolution, this information has high value, and those who are capitalizing or who can capitalize on these new ideas, and they think through these events, and they try to find the right way how they could help themselves, their family, or society, or country, or the community, or the globe. They are going to be the successful ones who are going to flourish way way higher results, with way higher amount of wealth than the previous transition. So it's going to be exponentially, and I hope that the morale of these people are going to convert in the direction of a great society, of a place where the superheroes are not I don't know, I don't want to name any celebrity, but those who are fighting with their wives and they just try to destroy them and try to project this as a value to society. They should be ashamed and stay in silence and not being in the public or letting everyone know about this. And so I hope that the morale of this is going to be risen as well, or those at least who are capable of seeing through these processes and who are going to be able to harness the change, are having the right mindset. And it's worth, if you think that you are in a good position, I think it's worth to spend a lot of time and effort to study and prepare on how you are going to use this success that is given or that might be given to you, because it's huge responsibility. And I tell you, if you can build up a reputation through decades, and then with one misstep you can destroy everything. So being sharp and ethical always pays, because is it the same as in nature? Women always know what's going on, so you cannot escape anything if it's something regarding a relationship with a man and a woman. They can sense it, and nature is working in a way that it excludes and pushes out of the system the lies. You cannot go with that. Yeah, I hope it's more or less you grasp what I what I meant here. So I think it's an exciting thing, and I think it's very important to make it as smooth the change as possible, involve as many people as possible, especially those who are in the most need, and those who have the moral capacity to bring this in the right direction. And I hope that it won't involve violence like once in these several transitions. And I think it's a very exciting period, and I'm extremely happy that we are here, we are living here, and we can prepare our families, our communities, and our friends on this. And I see in the Ravencoin community that they are pro change, and with a positive and positive mindset, and with ethical values. So I'm very, very grateful to be here, and we will see what it gives you. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that it made you think, and you can watch it again and write your comments or your remarks. Yeah. Have fun.